Hi everyone, I'm Doris Martel, and you're listening to Deep Tissue Talks. Today's episode is called The Neck That Carried Perfection. Today's story is about a figure skater preparing for the Olympics. She is elegant, precise, powerful, and exhausted in a very specific way. She came to see me with persistent neck and shoulder tightness, mostly on the right side. A deep tension that sits between the neck, the upper trapezius, and the arm. She wasn't injured, but she was worried that this tightness would turn into something more, worried it would affect her spins, her posture, her lines, worried that one small mistake could cost her everything. That's where our session began. When she walked in, her posture told me a lot. Her head sat slightly forward, not common for a figure skater doing hours of classical ballet as part of her training. The right shoulder rested just a bit higher than the left. Her arm hung close to her body, almost guarded. Figure skating demands extreme cervical and thoracic control, spotting spins, maintaining head position, counter rotations through the torso, arms held in precise frames for long periods of time. The upper trapezius, levator scapula, scalene, and sternocleidomastoid work constantly to stabilize the head. But what often gets overlooked is the arm's role in neck tension. When I placed my hands along her shoulder and arm, I felt it immediately. The upper trapezius was dense and overactive. The levator scapulae felt shortened, but the real restriction extended down the arm into the deltoid, biceps, and forearm flexors. This wasn't just a neck problem. This was a full upper chain issue. So I started where the body needed me, away from the pain. I began at the arm. Hindsight, I should have checked the hands because if you think at the upper body as a tent, the hands are the anchors pulling the tent. Slow myofascial gliding along the biceps and brachialis, freeing the anterior line that pulls directly into the shoulder. Then the forearm releasing the flexor compartment. Because gripping, tension, and control live there more than we realize. As the arm softened, the shoulder dropped slightly. That was my cue. Then I moved into the upper trapezius. Not aggressively, but slowly, allowing the tissue to melt rather than defend. I followed the fibers toward the neck, then released the levator scapulae at its attachment on the cervical spine. Finally, I worked into the thoracic outlet, freeing space for nerves, vessels, and the breath. As I worked, I felt the first layer let go. But I also felt something else, that subtle holding that doesn't belong to muscle alone. And that's when I knew we were entering layer 2. I always have the 3 layers of pain in mind, so I asked her gently, "When does this tension feel the worst?" She answered without hesitation, "Right before competition and during spins." So I asked, "What are you thinking in those moments?" She paused. "I'm thinking, don't mess up. Keep it together. Be perfect." There it was. The neck and shoulders, somatically, are where we carry responsibility, vigilance, and self-monitoring. In athletes who rely on precision, this area often becomes a control center, always alert, never resting. As I worked into the upper trapezius again, I felt small tremors, those subtle signs that the nervous system was beginning to shift. So I asked the question that opens the deeper layer. If this tension had a voice, what would it say? Her answer came quietly. I'm trying so hard not to fail. I placed my hand on her shoulder and said, "That makes sense. Your body is trying to protect your performance by staying tense." And then I added, "But tension isn't control, it's fear trying to help. Would you agree?" Her breathing changed. The tissue softened under my hands. At the deeper level, neck and shoulder tension often appears when we feel we must hold ourselves together at all times, when we believe that one mistake defines us, when we carry expectations, our own, our coaches, the judges, the audiences. So I placed one hand on her upper back, the other gently supporting her arm, connecting grounding with expression. And I said, "Let your body feel what it's like to be supported instead of held." Slow breath in, long breath out. With each exhale, the shoulders dropped a little more. The neck lengthened. The arm finally rested instead of bracing. A warmth spread across her upper back, the sign that circulation and safety had returned. Then I gently shook the arm and shoulder, a rhythmic grounding motion to reset the nervous system. The same instinct animals use after stress. Release, then move on. After the session, I asked her to sit up. She rolled her shoulders, turned her head slowly, and she smiled. "It feels like I don't have to hold myself so tightly anymore." Then she said something even more important. "I can be precise without being rigid." This is the heart of the work. Neck and shoulder pain is rarely just mechanical. It's often the body carrying pressure, vigilance, and fear of mistakes. So if your shoulders feel heavy, if your neck never truly rests, if your arms feel tense even when you're standing still, ask yourself, what am I trying so hard to control? What would happen if I trusted myself a little more? Where could I soften without losing my edge? Because true precision doesn't come from tension. It comes from presence. And for me, as a self-reflection, as a therapist, this case reminded me of something important. The next time I see this pattern, I need to think further down the chain, to the hands. As I mentioned earlier, if you see the body as a tent, the hands are the anchors. In a sport that demands constant control, grip, and precision, unresolved tension in the hands and forearms can silently feed neck and shoulder overload. Next time, I should also explore how tightly she grips with her hands during spins, whether her fingers ever truly relax off the ice, what control means to her when it lives all the way at her fingertips. Because sometimes letting go doesn't start at the shoulders, it starts at the hands. Thank you for listening to Deep Tissue Talks. If this episode resonated, share it with someone who carries perfection on their shoulders. Because healing doesn't start with force, it starts with safety. Take care of yourself. I send you love.